The Frog's Rainy Day Adventure. In a lush green jungle, where the trees stretched high and rivers flowed like silver ribbons, there lived a little tree frog named Finn. Unlike the other frogs, Finn had big dreams. He wanted to find the legendary Magical Raindrop, a single drop of rain said to grant one wish to whoever found it. One day, as the jungle faced a terrible drought, Finn knew it was time. "If I find the raindrop, I can wish for endless water," he declared. With that, he set off on his grand adventure. His journey wasn't easy. First, he encountered a boastful parrot. "You, a tiny frog, you'll never find it before I do," squawked the parrot, flapping away. Next, a sly snake slithered beside him. "Why waste your wish on water?" the snake hissed. "Wish for gold instead." But Finn ignored them. He hopped past dried-up ponds, cracked earth, and thirsty animals. Then, high up on a lonely leaf, he saw it, a single glowing raindrop shimmering like a pearl. Excited, he reached out. "I wish for—" But before he could finish, the raindrop absorbed into his skin. A strange warmth spread through him. Finn looked around. He didn't feel richer. The jungle was still dry. Had the raindrop failed? Then something amazing happened. He suddenly understood the jungle, how the clouds moved, how the wind carried moisture, how the trees held water in their roots. He didn't get riches, but he gained wisdom. Using his newfound knowledge, Finn leaped from tree to tree, spreading the message. The animals began planting trees to hold water, digging small ponds to collect rain, and working together to restore balance. Soon, dark clouds rolled in. Rain poured down, soaking the thirsty earth. The jungle flourished again, all thanks to Finn's wisdom. The parrot and snake returned, shocked. "You didn't wish for water?" Finn smiled. "I didn't need to. I wished for the knowledge to save it instead." And from that day on, the little frog became the jungle's wisest creature, proving that wisdom is the greatest treasure of all.